Thanks so much for tuning in to Set Apart. This is a podcast that was designed to lock arms and figure out this pivotal season we call young adulthood with other ordinary teens and young adults who desire to be set apart with Jesus rather than conform to the world. So with that, relax and enjoy this episode of Set Apart. Yeah, I know y'all like that little jingle. Come on now. We never talked about that. You already know that jingle far. Yes, sir. All right. My bad, bro. I got a little distracted. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. We are so glad to be doing this episode with y'all, man. We're so excited for what we're going to talk about today. Definitely one that I have been wanting to for, since we started. But yeah, so, Luan, how do you want to, introduce yourself? Those who haven't. I'm Zhane. What's up?
I mean, I'm Luan. If you don't know this yet, it kind of sucks, but hey, I'm Luan. I'm so glad.
For the new listeners,
I guess so. Well, I'm glad to have you guys here. Yeah, like Zhane was saying, this is a really cool episode. Something that Zhane has been talking about for a long time, that he wanted to bring it to the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of glad that we're doing this. So, just sit back, enjoy. Thank you for listening. Get your tea. We got some tea going on.
Got that Argo. You already know.
So, man. Let's do it. Let's just jump into it.
Let's go, man. All right. Well, so the topic that we're going to talk about today, you guys probably would have already seen this from the thumbnail or the description, but it is social media. So I personally have had a very long, complicated relationship with social media. Now it's one that is healthy, and there's a lot of boundaries in line and all that kind of stuff, but we'll get into it. So we just want to kind of clarify and just set the tone that social media, especially for the audience that we're talking to, the teens and young adults who want to be set apart, this is just the world we live in now. It's not going away. I don't think it will ever go away, unless it's somehow banned legally. I just don't think it'll ever go away. And so this is just what we're living in. This is what we have to, we kind of grew up with it. We're kind of the first generation to grow up with this and see what it was like, and which is huge to think about. We are the first generation to grow up with the smartphone, social media, all those, that is literally insane for the human race. Go ahead.
No, for sure. And it's kind of huge because at the end of the day, it's something that's so natural to us.
Right.
It's wild to think that I never really came to think it's really cool that we now have internet.
Right.
Or it's so cool that I can take a photo on my phone. It's I've always had that. So it's weird to think of that. So it's also important, just like Zhane was saying, it's a disclaimer because at the end of the day, it's not we're just coming here just abolish social media. We're all against it. That's the devil, whatever. That's not exactly what we're doing. But since it's something that's so natural and prevalent to all of us, because all the people that listen to this and the people that we talk to are all about our age. So I want to say from 18 to, I don't know, maybe 24-ish. Right. I don't know, maybe younger and older. But since it's something that's so relevant to us, that has so many different effects, it's just cool to come and approach it from a standpoint of being proactive towards it. Yeah. And I'm just it's just something that we all have. It's something that we all do. But we talk about this all the time. It's just seeing if it's beneficial, how we can have a healthy relationship with it, and just go with it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man. So I'm just kind of gonna start with the beginning of where I was able to observe, and when I found out about social media or whatever, right? So there's lots of different kinds of media, right? There's news media, there's journalism, all those kinds of things. There's blogging, all those kinds of things. But I'm talking the first
that's the Stratcom
memory I have, right? Yeah. Sorry guys. But this is the Stratcom coming out to me right now, a podcast. Come on.
True.
Anyways, if you know, you know. Stratcom stand up. Anyways, the first kind of memory I have with social media is I was in the old neighborhood I used to live in back in Florida. I was shooting hoops with this kid that lived down the street, and my brother, and his sister was there. And they were I was the youngest. They were all older than me. They were in high school. I was in fourth grade. So his sister they were joking around or something. He was like shooting the basketball, and she was like, "Ooh, kill him! Ooh, kill him with fire! Kill him with fire!" I'm like, "What is that?" And if you guys don't know that, it's like one of the first like popular like videos on Vine.
That is wild.
Like, and so I was like, bro, I was like, "What is that? Like, what are you killing him with fire?" And they're like, she's like, "Oh, it's from Vine." I'm like, "What is Vine?" And she's like, "You'll get it when you're older." Okay, first of all, when I was even old enough to get Vine, that junk was already gone, demolished.
That's crazy.
Junk was banished from the face of social media.
Bro,
So,
miss Vine, though.
yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of like the first thing I remember of just like, oh, I'm missing out on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which may have started my FOMO.
Wow.
And that, you know, thinking about it, that's kind of like
crazy.
something that could have been in there. I don't really have FOMO, but like I just don't like missing out on things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I would rather be there if I can. You know what I mean? But I won't trip about it. So yeah, just like that kind of stuff, and then like Dub Smash and like.
Dude, I've never had Dub Smash.
Bro, Dub Smash.
Yeah.
Okay, it was hot for like a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
It was short
I
lived.
think like the time that it was out and like popping, I was not in the US yet. That's probably why.
True.
So that makes sense. I had Vine though. I actually had a Vine account. I
Really?
made videos.
Let's go. Let's go.
So it's somewhere deep in the internet out there. But bro, I used to make like videos.
That's hilarious.
It's like looking back at it now. Well, obviously like not looking back at it, but thinking about it now. It's
Yeah.
the funniest thing, dude.
Yeah. Dub Smash was like mainly Dub Smash was mainly like the like you put a song over it and you can like do whatever to it, whatever.
Yeah.
You can do like the filter, the effects, all those kinds of things. And yeah, bro, that's when we were like whipping and nay and so like you can just imagine, bro, what that was like, those videos, like golly.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm glad. Is Dub Smash still a thing? I don't want to find out.
I think it's down. I think didn't it become like Musically, or is it a different thing?
No, I think those were different.
But it was like the same
I think
concept, wasn't it?
Musically took out Dub Smash,
Right.
and then Musically eventually turned into TikTok.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But anyway, so yeah, that's just like kind of how it started for me. Like, was yours Vine?
So my first one was Vine, but I
Okay.
think the time, like when did Vine come out? Was it like what?
Dude, it's been a
It was like
minute.
2010 or
I can
something
look
like
it
that.
up right now.
I think it was about 2010. I think it was the same time that Instagram
No, it
was like,
had to be before that,
before
bro.
that?
I
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't know. I wasn't like 8 when I had friggin' Vine. I don't think.
Hold on, bro. There's Cricket Wireless right now. Okay.
Well, that would make
Oh,
sense.
what?
I would be like 6.
That's crazy. It said it was originally launched on January 4th, 2013.
Yo. See, so that's about that time.
I don't believe that.
Because I know that Instagram came out in 2010, and I was like, yeah, I had Instagram before I had Vine, I think.
It was founded in 2012, but I think released in... That's wild.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Anyways.
feels like a long time ago. Yeah. I did have Vine maybe after, because I had Facebook, though. Because Facebook was already
Facebook
out.
was out.
Yeah.
Facebook, yeah. Yeah, that's facts. So that's not true. My first was probably something with Facebook. But, like,
Yeah.
Facebook was kind of all... I feel like Facebook, since it started, has kind of had, like, the stereotype of, like, just older people
Sure.
belong on it.
I mean, I liked it because, like, it was mainly, well, I had my family on it.
Like MySpace and all that kind of
and
stuff.
then I had my friends, and then they had the games on Facebook, bro.
Yeah.
I played the games for sure. But yeah, I think I started with Facebook like everybody else. When Vine came in the picture, I think it was after I had Instagram, though. So that was like my first actual interaction with social media was Facebook to Instagram. That was like the first transition, I guess. And it was, I guess, just because I just thought it was cool because like my friends had it. And, like, we could have games. And at the time, like, they had communities. Like, you know the Facebook communities? And, like, we all joined, like, stupid ones. It was, like, oh, it was so weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Facebook and Instagram are definitely the first ones that I had. But
yeah. Have you ever seen The Social Network?
No.
That movie? It's like how Facebook, like, started and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But there is some... It's not, a great movie as far as... There's some stuff in there. But, approach with caution. Anyways... It is an interesting movie, though. Yeah, dude, like, I remember it all started getting big, and then I was allowed to have one when I was in, like, an Instagram account. Sorry. So Instagram came out, and my brother had an account, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. He has an Instagram. I want one, too.
Yeah.
And I eventually got one when I was in 6th grade, which is, gosh, young, but nobody, my parents didn't really like know what it was.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't what it was yet, really.
Right, because like mainly you would only have your friends.
Exactly.
And like all you did was like just post a picture and get like 10 likes, and it was awesome.
Right, I would literally post like a picture of like my Chicago Bulls like flat bill hat,
yes.
and then be like, the 5th like gets a shout out.
That's crazy.
And then like I would just like comment their name in the thing. I wouldn't even tag them. I'd be like, thanks Christina for liking it. That's a shout out. And like, bro, it was so corny, but it was so pure and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I remember, like, I feel like I first got it when I was about, I want to say it was around 2012 was when I first got Instagram.
Wow.
Whenever that was.
So you probably would have been in 5th grade at that point. Because you're 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah, that was sick.
2014 was my 6th grade year. So.
Nah. It wasn't 2012.
Okay.
No, I think it was, though. I think it was 2012.
In 2014, I was in 6th
because
grade. Which is crazy to think about.
The reason why I think about it, I don't think I was that. Because, like, 2012, I was probably 10.
Okay. Yeah.
That is crazy to think about.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, anyways, I know that it was around then. Because it was, remember in 2012, that people were saying that, like, the world was going to end?
Yeah.
Right. So I remember very vividly. I was at my friend's house.
Right.
And his sister, like he had an older sister. And she had Instagram. Don't even remember her name. Wow. But we're all hanging out at his house, and the world was supposed to end that day. And I remember I took a photo.
Eating all the Doritos and gummy worms you could.
Bro, it was so funny. So like he lived by the beach, and it was like a super pretty day.
Right.
And I remember
this is in Brazil.
Yeah. So one of my first posts, if not my first post, was at his house. And I took a photo of the beach, and I was like, I thought the world was going to end. ... That was my first Instagram post. And I remember it so vividly. It was so funny because I just posted it for like the 5 friends that I had at the time.
That's hilarious.
But it was pretty cool. But yeah, I think that was my first like post ever. I must have had like created an account that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I thought the world was going to end.
Wow. Yeah. So that's kind of how we all started, right? We all started with that dumb, like, innocent, just like corny, didn't care what anybody thought, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure some of my friends still have some of my posts to this day, like, saved on their phones. That's funny. Which is like, it's dangerous.
Blackmail.
Yeah.
I found one that I posted like a few days ago. Because for some reason, like, you know how we have campus community? Yeah. So they post it on Facebook. I don't know why. So then one of these days, I was looking for a song that they sang and stuff, and I went there through, like, Safari, and, like, I had to log into my Facebook account. And then I was like, all right, let me look at my posts. Bro, it was such a sad moment. Like, I was looking back. I had a photo there that it was, like, I went to get acai in Brazil. Yeah. And I took a photo of it. And, like, I remember at the time, like, I was obsessed with Minecraft. I mean, everybody was, I think, right? Yeah. So I had a photo, and it was, like, the acai bowl just sitting there. And I put a Steve sticker through the app doing a backflip on top of the acai. And then the caption reads, does anyone want ice acai? Question mark.
Steve does.
Ha ha ha. That's exactly it. Steve does. And that was it.
I knew it.
I don't understand what was going through my head. And then some of my friends like, yo, Steve be going crazy. I'm like, bruh. So yeah. Dude, this brings back so many memories. It's so funny.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody that's listening kind of has their own story going through their mind right now, like a similar stuff, which is hilarious. But, oh my gosh, if you have a story, comment that in whichever platform. That'd be hilarious. Woo! Sorry guys, that was way too loud. So yeah, that's how it started. And then as soon as I remember, I got into like 6th grade, and I was posting all that stuff, and later on, eventually everybody kind of started to catch on, like, oh, like I can kind of use this as like part of being cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm yawning. Got that tea in me right now. But yeah, like people started to like notice that like it was a part of like just interacting with their peers, and like, oh, I saw what you posted. It's like, oh wait, I have to kind of like watch what I post now because they might make fun of me or whatever. Right. And so I started like, I remember there'd be my friends, they'd be like, dude, why'd you like, that post is so stupid, whatever. I mean, if you look at theirs, it's like just stupid. But, you know, it's just like boys in middle school. Like, you look stupid, you're stupid, everything's stupid. And so then I kind of like started to, you know, feel the peer pressure.
Nice.
And yeah, thanks for that. And then eventually over time, like it just kind of started to become more of part of life. Like if I'm going to be cool, if I'm going to have friends, then I need to make sure that my social media is cool, right?
Yeah.
And literally as like at the age of, what was I, 12, 13?
About?
Yeah, right around there is like you start comparing yourself to people, and you can look at pictures that they post, not knowing whether like the life that they're living is true or not. Like at the age of like 12 or 13, bro, and like that nothing good can come out of that. You know what I mean? And so that just kind of started, and it started to change people and just like how we interacted and how we treated one another, and it became very toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll talk more about how it, you know, got on later, but
yeah.
What about you?
No, but that's legit. Now that you kind of say that, it's like, because it started off like we're joking a few minutes ago of like, yeah, I got my friends here and it's super cool because they just like post like each other's stuff and we can like it and stuff. Although you had like 15 friends max and your mom, so that was huge. But then it got to a point that it was just like that. I remember that. I think that transition for me was more with Instagram, like Vine as well, like at the time, because everybody was trying to like do things that were cool and people would watch and like, you know what I mean?
Because that's when like Logan Paul, Jake Paul,
those guys,
like they all
David Dobrik and stuff, right?
David Dobrik.
So all those guys were from that time, and everybody saw those people, and we were like, yo, that guy's so cool. I'm gonna be cool like that guy too. And then like everybody was trying to do those things, but like you were saying, it started getting to a point that before, instead of it being like, well, before it was a way that we posted things that we liked because we just liked it.
Right.
Like, hey, I like this thing. I'm going to take a picture of it, and then I'm going to post it because I think it's cool. And then later on, it was like, okay, I like that thing. Yeah. Would people think that thing is nice? Okay, I think they will like it too. So let me take a photo and then convince these people that I'm also cool so they can like that photo, and then they're going to like me. And it's really weird because, like, the things that you started to do after that were not genuine anymore. And I think that was like the weirdest thing about that transition of social media, because it came from a place of like being genuine. And I think even the people who created social media, like Facebook and Instagram and all those things, like had those intentions beforehand. It was never for it to become what it is today. Like I think before they were just like, yeah, let's create a platform so people can be with each other and to be connected and to post things that they like and interact with their friends and families and stuff. And then super quickly, that genuine thing that was supposed to be good for all of us just switched because people lost the desire to be themselves and started to pursue the need to be liked by other people.
Right.
And I think that's kind of how it was for me too. Like I would no longer post things that I didn't think people would find like worthy. Yeah. So yeah, that's huge. But that kind of happened a little bit for sure.
And like there wasn't like at first, I think the good thing is that like we all did see the good that came out of it first before we saw the bad. Yeah, like we like, oh, like I can, you know, see what like my friends are doing, and like, oh, my aunt has one of these accounts, cool, I can follow her too. Like all those kinds of things. And like this guy just got reminded of this. It'd just be like a thing to where like you wouldn't let like your family follow you. You know what I mean? Because like I can't let them see what you're doing.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta be secretive.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Gangster, you know, like us in like middle school. But and so like there was the good things. Like I was like, oh yeah, my friend likes my hat, woo, you know what I mean? Or just like that, you know, you get to see, like you get to keep up with people that you didn't before, and all those kinds of things. And none of the negative things had really happened yet. Like dude, like memes. Oh my gosh, like memes started becoming a thing. Like I mean, they had always been, you know, kind
in
of
a way, a
thing, but it was just like cat memes before that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, it started to get a little more, you know, dank memes, if you will. You know what I mean? Like all those kinds of things. Like Pepe started showing up, and John Cena. Like everything was about John Cena for a phase, and then like awesome. Shrek and whatever. So yeah, dude, like so many funny things came out of it, and like fun. It was fun and
Yeah,
it was
it was
enjoyable. You got to show your friends like funny things. But then like at a young age, with so many people flooding to one social media site, like it's bound to have bad things pop up in there, right? And so that's one way that I know a lot of my friends and a lot of like my brother's friends, peers, just became exposed to a lot of things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, dude, like, look at this picture of Megan Fox. Like, oh my gosh. And so, like, just over time, it was like either it was things that had to do with like, you know, lust, or whether it was like, just like a lot of like cussing or whatever, or just like violent. There's like graphic videos. You're like, whoa, what did I just watch? Because like the monetization, like it wasn't as high. Yeah. And so there was a lot more.
Because I don't even think it existed at first. It was only at, like, obviously it started off with it being like a platform for people to just connect. Right. After people started seeing that through that connectivity, they would be able to make money out of those things, like maybe selling products or like showing their image. And that's when like influencers first started to exist. You know what I mean? And then I think from that was when like Facebook and even YouTube at the time started to use that to like make money and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And so, just like a lot of the negative sides, sides started to come out to it. And then like, just to kind of like skip a little bit, like then we got into where it really mattered. We got into like high school and stuff. Yeah. Where it was like, all right, now we're like kind of grown and this is normal to us now, but like, it's not just about, you know, posting about my hat. Now it's about like, you know, posting about what like your body, posting about like I don't know, cool things you have, like just like showing off or materialism,
and just like creating your like image, like your internet image. I would say that's what it became.
And so we started like, it was just kind of normal to lie about ourselves. Yeah, dude. It just kind of just became like the norm to like lie about ourselves. You know what I mean?
Because that's the thing. It really transitioned from something of like that we didn't think of. Like we just did it because it was, you know, it was nice, it was cool, it was funny. And then like so much thought started going into everything, like what I would post. Like, oh, does this make me look cool? Like, are people gonna think I'm like that guy if I like show that I have this or that I know these people or that I'm doing these things on a Saturday night? Like, so that's what it became. Like we got so quickly concerned with what people perceived you as through that platform. Yeah. That like you went like above and beyond to create that image that like 95% of the time just didn't reflect who you were. Right. And I think that's when things got crazy out of hand. Because like at that point, like it didn't matter anymore. Like people were just straight up doing whatever they wanted to make them look cool. Mm-hmm. And that's like how it affected us on the other side of those things. Because like it's one of the things that I feel as the most, how can I put it into a good word? But it's the thing that affects us the most. Like it's the thing that I think every single person that has an experience with social media has felt in some way or another. And it's the like the idea or just comparison in general. Like the way that social media has allowed us to compare ourselves with with other people into their realities and their lifestyles. And I think that's one of the most, dude, I'm just blanking on a word right now, but it's one of the things that causes the most amount of stress among like people, like anxiety and depression and stuff. Oh yeah. I feel like most of that comes from that place of comparison. Right. And like you were saying, the idea of like, posting what you have and posting what, you're doing and what you are, like, since we expect that from ourselves and that's what we try to portray as like it being us, right? Whenever you see other people doing the same, we often like, I guess, got to a point that we disregarded that they were doing the same thing as we were, and then we were like, oh dang, like that guy's so cool. Yeah, like he's going to the beach like every Saturday. Like, he's hanging out with all these people. Like his parents got this crazy car and all that kind of stuff. Right. Like, they're so awesome. And then like, dang, I wonder why I don't have that. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think that's like the most crazy thing that came out of social media, in my opinion. That's what I see affecting even my life today the most. Right. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I would probably say just like just the overall anxiety that it just, I mean, floods into people. Like, I feel like I mean, there's studies, and like Gen Z is the most anxious, depressed generation, literally to ever walk the earth.
Yeah.
Ever. Of all time. Like, it's us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and you like, you connect all the dots, and without like a shadow of a doubt, it's social media that is the root, like, I wouldn't say root, but it is the perpetrator, I guess, of all these other problems that like will get worse. It's social media feeds into all of them. Like, just the anxiety of like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to fit in because like I'm not cool enough, I don't like having enough followers and stuff like that. Like, you know, oh, my body isn't as attractive as that girl's body, so even if I post, I'm not going to get the same attention, so I have to go to further extents to get people's attention, and then and it just goes so far and so deep, and it gets so dangerous because it isolates people, dude. Like, we just get isolated, and because we don't see the value of going to talk to people anymore, because we know like everybody's fake, and they don't want me, they don't like me actually. They just want to be popular, and they just want to have like this Avengers crew of like social media, you know, like,
for sure.
And so, I don't know, there's just like so many unrealistic expectations that people have put on themselves.
Yeah, man.
And it just kills them over time. Like, for me personally, like, I got to the point where I was like, dude, I'm not like, I can't be as cool as the 6'5" D1 athlete that's like just perfect. Right. It's like cool as crap. He's so cool. He's ripped. Like, he gets the cute girls. Doesn't matter like who it is. Like, he's popular. He has, you know, all these things. And in the meantime, I'm over here. I'm trying to stay the right way. Like, I'm trying to like walk the right path, being like, no, it's not worth it. Don't give in to all those lies and stuff. But like, you're literally around it 24/7. And so it kind of drains the hope out of a lot of people. Like, I can't get through this. Like, I have to give in, or else I just won't be, you know, like a part of humanity. Like, you know what I mean? And so like, people, like, somehow we are the most connected we have ever been, ever. We can see the news whenever we want. We can call people from any point in the world whenever we want. See what they're posting, all those kinds of things. Yet we are the loneliest. Yeah. Like, why is that? Yeah. It's because like social media has taken all of the things that are supposed to be so real and genuine and one-on-one and physical and verbal. Yeah. And it's turned it into like some kind of like reality TV show that isn't real. Like, none of it is real. Like, you can show real stuff. Now, there's people that use it for the good, and there's
for sure.
a lot of great has come out of it. But like, it's just turned into this thing to where like, you know, it's fake. Like, you know it is. Like, you know it's fake, but you have to treat it like it's this big real thing because of the effect that it has on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can just remember like all these things started to have a problem on me. Like, I was getting a lot of anxiety at a very young age for reasons that I shouldn't have. And then, you know, Snapchat comes along, and TikTok and all those kinds of things. And I was wasting so much of my time. I was becoming exposed to so many things, like pornographic material, a bunch of cussing, violent material, unrealistic expectations, all these things. I was so distracted, and my mind was crossed. Like, it was just everywhere. And so eventually I came to the point, I don't know, it's probably like a year and a half at this, something like that. Like, it's been about a year and a half now to where I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm sick of it. Yeah. Like, even if I feel like I can handle this and that I've grown and matured to where I kind of know how to deal with these things, I would rather just not deal with this problem, so I'm deleting it. So I just deleted everything, dude. Like, I don't have anything, and I haven't for like a year and a half. Like, whatever it is, I don't know, social media, like Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, whatever. Like, I just don't have it because of a lot of personal reasons and for my faith. You know, honestly, like, I feel like Instagram at this point is kind of a dating app for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Funny, like, it gets to a point where, like, it's not all that different than Tinder. You know what I mean? Because, like, you're just swiping, you're seeing people's accounts, and most people are only on Instagram to, like, you know, observe the other sex. So it's like, oh, she's cute. Let me go in her DM. All right, next. It's kind of just a dating app. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that use it for good. Like,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, anyways. Sorry, that's kind of scattered, but there's just a lot of like negative things that come with it. For like, sure. There's just this list I'm looking at right now, things that have come out of social media that are not good. So like, you have false connections, lack of sleep, stress, decreased productivity, isolation, cyberbullying, lack of privacy, anxiety, unrealistic expectations, and just like in depression. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the founder and the CEO, or I guess the founder, not CEO at this point, but the creator of Instagram, he sold it, and he doesn't allow his kids to have it because he understands at this point. He's like, I didn't mean to do this, but I've created a monstrosity. Yeah. Like, he has created. And you can't blame the guy, because he was just trying to do good, and he did do good. There was a lot of good that came out of it, but he just didn't know what was going to happen with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know. I was scattered, but there's just a lot of thoughts, because
that's good.
There's so much that comes to mind.
Because it is a lot, and that's the thing, really. You know, like, going back to what we said at the beginning, it's like, it's not necessarily that the thing it's on its own is like all bad. Right. I think we say this at least like once every episode, but it's a matter of like knowing how that affects you. Mm-hmm. That I think is huge. And as we're approaching this with an idea of like, okay, it's out there, it's real. We can't just deny like that it's relevant. We can't deny that people like literally live for that. Like, there are people that's their full-time job, which is wild. Yeah. So like, we can't deny the fact that it's out there. It's relevant and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like seeing the ways that we should approach it, so we're not just going with it. Mm-hmm. That we're not just like naturally or just naturally affected by something just because it's normal and should be accepted. Right. Because for me, I can say that like even today, like, I think the only social media that I have, well, I do have Instagram, though it's like limited 30 minutes a day, mainly for like to be in touch with people and post set apart stuff. Right. Yeah. Sometimes I do that. Though I suck, dude. I suck at social media stuff. I just don't have patience. I don't have the time. I just like, it's so much, man.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't blame you.
So, actually, the one reason why I have it, especially during the winter, basketball season. That's the only reason why I need to have Instagram up and running, because I need to see the highlights. I need to see that kind of stuff. That's true. So it's really helpful. But again, 30 minutes a day, so my phone allows me. And I have laps now. Laps is kind of cool. Yeah. I can get behind it. But anyways, but before I actually came to the understanding of, dang, this thing like actually affects me, it was a few years ago. I think it was my first real time dealing with like anxiety. Yeah. It was my first like real time. I mean, I was never diagnosed with anything. Never went to the doctors or to psychiatrists to actually talk about it. But I remember it was at a time that like I just felt like everything in my life was just going like crap. Like I just couldn't put my finger on it, but I was constantly unhappy. I was just constantly like frustrated. I was constantly like doubting things or questioning things. And it was at a moment that like I really wanted to do things with my life. Like, it was at a time that, I was saved at a point, obviously, but I was in a term of like wanting to do a lot of things for God. I was already like wanting to get into ministry, which is really crazy to think of. Right. And I was like, Lord, like, this is what I want to do, you know? And like today, I feel like it's so easy to see like ministries out there doing amazing things for the Lord. And I would often see like posts of people that I knew and some people that I just followed that like I really looked up to, that were doing amazing things in life. Some of them like were friends from high school that were going to great schools, and they were going to like having great job opportunities and all those things. And in the ministry aspect of things, I saw these crazy cool ministries like starting off and like running and people going to places to preach and conferences and all those things. And it was all good stuff. But I remember, if you watched, whoever's listening, if you watched, I think it was the episode with Blake.
That should be
5, I want to say. Yeah. The episode with Blake was when I told a little bit about my story in terms of like school and like how the Lord like humbled me down. It was at that same time.
Right.
So it was at a time that things were not moving in my life. Purposefully, I know the Lord had some reasons why he was doing those things then. But at that time that I didn't see anything moving, I didn't see any progress. I felt like I was constantly hitting a wall. I was not growing. All these people were doing great things, and there I was doing absolutely nothing that I actually wanted to do.
Right.
And I would see those things online. I would see these people doing like everything that I dreamed of doing. They were getting to places that in my head they never even deserved.
Yeah.
Which is like really weird to think of, but like that's how I felt. And looking back, like, dude, I was so anxious. I was so messed up. And that was the moment that I realized, like, dang, like, why, like, are all these people doing these things and I'm not? Like, why am I here? And it got, like, talking to some people, like, talking to my pastor back home and stuff like that. And I noticed that, like, that pursuit of something that was, like, manufactured by these people made me lose track of, like, myself and where I was. Because in reality, my life was not crap.
Yeah.
My life was not bad.
Right.
I had everything that I needed and more. Like, I had a family, I had a house, I had no need, I had friends, I had all these things. Like, I was still going to school. But the fact that I was pursuing something that people portrayed as great and, like, something that everybody desires made me lose track of the things that I had in front of me, and therefore I was, like, anxious.
Right.
Because, dang, I'm never going to measure up to that guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that was the first real moment that I was like, dang, this thing sucks.
Right.
Like, the social media crap sucks. And to this day, like, I can't say that, like, I don't struggle with comparison at times. I feel like it's the one thing that, I wouldn't say holds me back the most, but it's one of the things that I'm constantly, like, having to remind myself of.
Right.
Not because, like, I'm just a natural, like, compare. I don't even know if that's a word. But I'm just like very analytical. I love to think about things and how I can do things well.
Right.
But yeah, that's one of the things that I keep having to remind myself of like, dang, like I can't just be like comparing myself to people and understanding that like the things that we see and like how we're talking about social media and stuff, like 90% of those things, like even 95 maybe of the things that are posted on Instagram aren't even real, dude.
Right.
Like they aren't even like how those people are feeling, which is crazy to think because like most people who are rich, who are famous, who have everything that we would theoretically desire and want are unhappy. Why? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that really gets me going. It's like, okay, so if that's everything that we dream of, if that's everything that we're looking for, if that's what's going to make us happy, then why are the people who have those things not happy? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like what came out of that deep reflection on the effects that social media was having in my life at that time, because it really like messed me up like for a long time. I don't even know how long it was. It could have been like over almost a year of just like constant frustration, just constant like anxiety, like expecting things to happen, things to get better, for me to be in places that like I deserved, you know, quote unquote deserved, or things that I thought were good for me, and I just never got there, and I just lost track of like what was in front of me. And I think that's huge. I think it's something that we need to be aware of and be attentive to, so we don't just like get sidetracked, because it's so easy to lose track of the things that the Lord is requiring of you now, because you're constantly thinking about what other people are doing. Right. That was like how it was for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that, like, for instance, like you were talking about a lot of the negative things that kind of came from having social media. So I think something that would be beneficial to kind of point out, just from like my personal journey, is like the benefits from not having it. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, honestly, like, I'm not saying that deleting social media will solve all your problems, but I can pretty much guarantee you that it'll solve a lot more than you think it will. Yeah. Don't underestimate the power of it. Like, really. And maybe you know, I challenge you to like try this out for like a month. Yeah. Like no social media. Not like you just delete Instagram. No. Yeah. Like literally Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram,
It's
Facebook, TikTok, yeah. X. See, I'm behind. Shout out Elon. Get on the pod, bro. Anyways, all of it doesn't matter. Like basically the only way that people can contact you or you can contact people is through text or calling.
Yeah.
Bro, let me tell you how nice that is. It's so nice. It's so nice. Immediate benefits that I noticed from when I deleted Instagram and all that stuff was that there was like I was less worried. There was less for me to like worry about, right? And I kind of like mentioned this a little bit earlier in the episode, but like FOMO, like I had FOMO like way worse than I do now, right? And it used to be very unhealthy back then because it was like, well, you see all the things that people are doing, and like if you don't do those things that they're doing, then like you're missing out and you're just not as cool, and life just isn't as good in general if you're not, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so there was less for me to worry about because I wasn't having to see all those things that I was like missing out on. And like it eventually got to the point where I was like, dude, I kind of like missing out right now.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Because like even I just know the people that, even the people that see those things and they actually do live those out, I know that they're just as worried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even, because then it's like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it's just exhausting. It's so exhausting. And that's one of the things I noticed first was like, dude, I just don't have to worry as much, which is so nice. Another thing I noticed is who the real people were in my life that actually were willing to text me or call me if they wanted to talk to me. And hopefully, I mean, luckily it was a lot of people. I mean, all the people that I care about text me. And now there's, you know, I don't blame somebody that I barely knew in high school that I was following. Like, I don't care. Like, that's fine. Whatever. You do you. But yeah, like all the people that are really, that really want to be connected with you, they will connect with you. They'll talk to you. And you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. And so, you know, I think I put something on my Instagram, like, it was like one of those story posts. I was like, hey guys, I'm deleting Instagram. I don't know if I'll be back soon or not. And that was it. And it's been like a year and a half. So, and yeah, so there's just less, and I was on my phone less, so much less distraction. Like just as a student, dude, like in college, or doesn't matter if you're in middle school, like as a student, like you don't have to like pick up your phone and be like, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, let me scroll on Instagram. You can't. And I challenge you to make it to where you can't download apps. Yeah. Like do the screen time privacy thing. Get somebody that has a passcode that you don't know so that you can't download apps. Yeah. And if you want to download an app, they're going to have to put in the thing and you're going to get an app. It's not convenient, but it's worth it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, I just want to kind of emphasize that a little bit. Especially the idea of being able to be present in the moment, like how you're saying, like FOMO and stuff. I noticed this, which is really funny. We went to the football game. Yeah. Right? Shout out Liberty. What a freaking game. That was wild.
Bro, during like timeouts and stuff.
So we were there, and then I remember very vividly. I was just sitting there because it was either a timeout or it was just like the time between.
In between quarters.
The quarters and stuff. Yeah. And we all just sit down. And I'm sitting down, and like I have all my friends there. Yeah. I mean, you're there. So it's, you know.
That's all of them. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, Zhane is just right there and he's on his phone. But no. So I sit down and it really gets me. Like, I feel so like weird and old saying this, but I sit down and I go, and the first thing I go to do is like to pick up my phone. Yeah. And at that moment I was like, nah. Hold on. So I put it in my pocket, right? Right. And I'm just like sitting there. And, like, they're playing, like, music and stuff. I think they're playing 21 Pilots at that point. Love 21 Pilots. Anyways.
What was the song?
Ride.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song. Anyways. So I'm just sitting there. And I look around. Bro, every single person around me is on their phone. And, like, they're literally, some of them were, like, on Instagram. Labs. Be Real. X. And then the stupid Snap. I'm completely against Snapchat. That's the one that I say is from the devil. Delete that, John, bro. Anyways, dude, like literally, like every single person, it's crazy because like we're all there together with our friends, doing something as friends that we're supposed to enjoy, and yet we're all like so quickly locked into like, oh, what's everybody else doing now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me see what my friends are doing here on Instagram real quick. Like, I should definitely post a Be Real right now. I should definitely let them know that oh man, it's
guys,
like
I missed my one from yesterday. Look.
it's so crazy.
Shut up, bro.
Like,
shut up. I don't want to be in your Be Real, bro. Shut up.
Like we're such minions, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, beep, beep. Oh, Be Real, dude. Everybody on the stands, bro.
Yes, dog.
Literally just pull their phones out and
It's literally like everybody's arm goes up at once with their phone.
right, and it's like so crazy to me. And I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, 20 years from now,
Yeah.
you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh dang, I remember like during the games I was always like sitting on my phone instead of like actually chopping it up with the people that I
Right.
don't see anymore.
Right.
That's what I think social media does.
Right.
It takes you away from being present in the present because you're so worried about what everything else is happening around
Yes.
you. And that was like a weird realization that I had. I was like, dude, what the crap?
Yeah.
So I'm just like sitting there, like just looking around. I'm like, dang, like I graduate in like not even like 7 months,
Which is crazy.
which is crazy to think of. And I'm like, I'm not going to have this anymore. Like, let me just like take it in.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there looking around, eating like saltless popcorn.
That junk was trash, bro.
I liked it. That was pretty
That junk
good.
was some garbage.
So it's like just weird how like we've become so wired to be constantly like stepping out of reality. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird.
No, yeah. No, it's like, it's just, I don't know, dude. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just think about it, and it's like everybody does the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, like as an instinct now. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, there's nothing to do. Let me pull out my phone. And like, bro, honestly, I mean, I can't lie. There's a few times I pulled out Retro Bowl. You know what I mean? First of all, I did win the Retro Bowl. All right, for y'all that don't know,
like 25-time champ, right?
yeah, for y'all that don't know, get Retro Bowl. Junk is fire. Anyways, but yeah, just like, the amount of people that aren't even aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And listen, like, I know, like, this is a podcast. I'm sure some, artsy people or just, more people that are more involved in, whatever, strategic communications, whatever, that kind of field. You guys might want to be like a social media manager.
Yeah.
Like, listen, God probably made you a little special. Chances are, God probably made you a little special, like, in the sense that you can handle a lot of those things that comes with social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people do it extremely well.
Right, like, you don't necessarily have to worry about all those things in the same way, which is good. Like, more power to you. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, legit.
So, like, there's, it doesn't mean you have to, like, if you have social media that you're just going to, inevitably end up in this pit of despair and anxiety.
Yeah.
But, like, you know yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
huge.
One thing that I love about not having social media is, like, the fact that, like, when people will hear about it or, like, recognize that I don't have any social media, like, oh, yo, bro, like, check what I sent you on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I don't have Instagram. And they're like, well, my account is still up, but I don't use it. It's like just dormant right now. And so they're like, dude, like, yo, check what I sent you on Instagram or whatever. Like, or have you seen this meme that's going around? I'm like, nah, I don't have that. Like, oh, do you have like Twitter? I'm like, no, I don't have anything. And they're like, wait, what? Like, you don't have like anything? I'm like, no, dude, I don't need it. I haven't for a while now.
I got messages though.
Yeah, right. Check out text messages. Yeah, and they're like, what? That's crazy. And like they kind of look at me like I'm some kind of like Navy SEAL. Like there's no shot. Like you really,
you're like an alien.
Like wow, you don't have some. And like the thing is, like you think it would be very hard, but like once I gave it a little bit of time, I'm like, this is so easy. I don't even want it back. Like I wouldn't if somebody. I don't want it back, because I'm just gonna have more problems to deal with. Like I'll be like, oh cool. Yep, attractive woman. All right, whatever. Dude doing something cool. All right, cool. Like I don't need that. You know what I mean? And like sure you can see like, oh well, there's like I follow all the
the Christian media pages. And
Sure, that's cool, but I don't need all the other stuff that's gonna come along with that and the worry.
Some
and
stuff you don't have choice though. Like even if you don't follow it, it's still gonna show up.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. People are like,
wild.
oh, just hit like to not interested. I'm like, dog, the devil is real. That will come back around at some point. Like, you know what I mean? And so yeah, like there's not much to worry about. You have more time. You can be more present with people.
Yeah, that's huge.
You're still a part of the generation. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm less of a Gen Zer because I don't have social media.
Right.
Like now there's times where people, okay, like for instance, like the that one meme that was like popular a while ago, but it was like it's con. Con.
That is fun. This is a funny story.
So like it was probably like a good 3 months into that meme or whatever. And I think I was like, there was something that had to do with corn in that moment. I don't know if I was eating it with a meal or like we were talking about like a corn maze.
I think that's what it was.
Okay, something like that. And was it Rory?
I think so.
I think it was Rory. Shout out Rory. That's my girlfriend Olivia's roommate. So she said something about like, oh, it's corn. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's corn. I'm like, yeah. And then like I don't know, it kind of like looked at me sideways. I'm like, what? And they're like it's corn. I'm like, what is that?
Like,
and
yes, it is corn.
Yeah, I'm like, I know. And what are you doing? And she's like, no, it's like the meme, whatever. She showed me, and it's like that little kid, did a little song to it that they made. It's fun. It's funny, but just like little stuff like that happens every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I was kind of a boomer on that one. I ain't gonna lie, like I missed out. I didn't really know about that.
That is funny.
But like, guys, like that's the worst that's happened.
Yeah.
I've missed out. I was 3 months late to the corn meme. That is the worst that's happened to me. Like out of a year and a half of being in a lot of my friends use social media. Like I'm in college. It's so common. You would think that there'd be more bad things, but no, you actually gain way more good than you lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I challenge you guys for like just try it for like a month. Just delete social media, see what happens.
Yeah.
All of it, except for like phone and text. So so you can still contact people and all that.
Yeah. So you're reminded that you died. Yeah,
and
huge.
I don't know if you'll even want it back after that. If you do, that's cool. But but
it all goes back to the whole idea of like knowing yourself. If it affects you in bad ways, like get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able, like if that's your job, if you're able to do it well, if you're able to use it wisely, and it's not like making you lose sleep or it's not causing you to feel anxious or depressed or anything like that, then sure, still be wise about it. Like don't spend 45 hours on it. But all I'm saying is just that. Like I feel like for me, that's huge. Like it affects me in many ways. Like right now at this moment, I don't have Instagram. I usually do that. Like I delete it for a while, and then if I need to do something, then I download it again. But it's just that, like, knowing yourself, know your limits, know the things that cause you to sin, because that's also a major thing that came with all that stuff. Like sin has become so much more accessible.
Yeah.
So if it's something that causes you to sin, get rid of it. The Bible talks about it. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out. So if Instagram,
pretty sure it says Instagram in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's Zanelations.
that's the message version.
That's a Zanelations 4-5.
Yeah, Zanelations.
But yeah,
it's got a ring to it.
I like it.
Zanelations.
Definitely one of the churches that Paul wrote to. You know what I'm saying?
It's probably the name of one of them.
Yeah, I would say. But yeah.
Yeah, and so I think one thing that I kind of just want to transition into is as far as like, we grew up with this tool, social media, and a lot of good has come out of it, a lot of bad has come out of it, more so bad in my opinion. So now we kind of have to pass this torch to the future generations as far as dealing with our mess, and the mess that we've created as far as what's normal. And I mean, oh my gosh, I remember when I used to have TikTok, and like I'd be scrolling on my For You page, and it's inevitable at some point some girl is gonna pop up wearing minimal clothing, and so like it's crazy. Like you see these videos and stuff, and it's like they're like thirst trapping you, right? And then you go to the comment section, And like people are like, bro, she's 16. It's like, yo, what? What is going on? And like, yes, there's the aspect of that to where like, yes, it's dangerous because, you know, like that's weird stuff like that can happen as far as like, whatever. But the point I kind of want to bring from that is like the fact that a 16-year-old was comfortable enough and believed that posting something like that was okay.
Yeah.
And like that was normal. And so like my sister, she's 16, I think. 16 at this point. She's should be no. She's gonna turn 17 in November, so she's 16 right now.
Junior now, right?
Yeah. So, like for instance, like her grade at her school and all that kind of stuff. Like, they're cool kids and all that, but like all that stuff is just so much more like normal to them. And like the boundaries that we started with, like those boundaries are pushed way back already from the start. And so as time goes on and these generations go on, like, I mean, technically we're pretty much in the same generation. Like, you know what I mean? But
no, I get it.
You know what I mean? Because like it gets a little complicated when there's like, you know, the internet involved, because like it just affects generations much more rapidly. And I feel like we're much more smaller, like generations, like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like one generation is from like 03 to 05. The next generation is from like, you know, 2002 to 99. You know, I feel like there's just like, I don't know. Anyway, so within my sister's generation, it's just the boundaries are so much farther than where they were when we started. And so how do we deal with like helping this generation not end up in the way that we were? And, you know, because they're already kind of getting into that, how do we, you know, maybe set a better example on how to get out of that and how to not just continue to like fall for that trap.
Right. Yeah, it's a loaded one, because again, they're even worse than us, because like we saw it come about, they just like were born into it, like it's always been and stuff.
And also, sorry to cut you off, but like one of the things is like a lot of these influencers, like you know, whatever, the Addison Rays, like all those, like this is what these girls are like looking up to.
Yeah.
As like, this is what it means to be a woman. You know what I mean? Like, no, sweetie. Like, no, like it's not what it means.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so sad because they think that they need to dress the same way as these girls. They need to look and like they're literally not even developed. Like their brain is not developed, their bodies aren't developed, and like they're treating themselves like they're some 25-year-old like college grad.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're a kid.
Right.
Like, you need to be a kid right now. And then like it's sad. It's like heartbreaking because like these kids are missing out on their childhood because they think that they have to be some kind of like IG model. Like, what? No.
Right.
Like, anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's one thing that bothers me a lot. It's just like how the younger generation of girls feel like they have to be.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And that's huge. I think the main issue, it doesn't just go to the younger generation. I think it's even ours. The reason why that stuff is so like prevalent, I guess, and like how like the reason why so many of those people from the younger generations look up to those people is that they don't have better people to look up to.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Since everybody out there is doing that.
Sorry guys, that's a chair.
If everybody out there is looking up to this person, like the Andrew Tates of life, the whatever it is, all the influencers and all these people that are loud enough.
Bottle of water.
Because at this point, that's what it is. If you got a platform, if you got money, and if you're loud enough, people are like, oh, they're loud, they got money, they got everything I wish I had. I guess I'll just follow them.
Yeah.
So for lack of good examples, people will follow anybody.
Yeah.
So I think for us, what that really means is like doing our part to make sure that you show to these people what it actually means to be a good example. I don't have any younger siblings. I don't. I have cousins, but like they're so much younger than me. Right. But I think what we could do is just that. Like, instead of just like, again, completely banishing the whole idea of like, oh, just get rid of social media and stuff. I think instead of prohibiting them from seeing those things, it's better to show them what it actually should be.
Yeah.
in whatever context that could be. I think, showing them in our situation, like showing guys what it means to be an actual like man.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. Like nowadays, what does it mean to be a man? It's the guy that gets with the most girls. Easy.
Right.
Oh yeah, you also got to like deadlift 325, and you got to have
Right.
like a crazy cool car and make a lot of money. Like that's what it means to be a man, or so they think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like my thought is just that. Like I feel, and a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the reason behind we started the podcast is just because of that.
Yeah.
Because for lack of good examples.
Yeah.
For lack of people showing the way to other people, for lack of people like actually stepping up and being like, hey, I actually don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a better way to go about life. For lack of that, I think we as people who have been not only like exposed to the bad and the good, but like to people that have been like, saved and transformed by like Christ and know what it actually means to follow him.
Yeah.
Like that's what we should do. And I think by doing that, like by doing that, and people like actually having somebody to look up to, people actually having an example to follow, then the following generations will also see the impact of it.
Right.
That's like huge for me. I don't exactly know what that entails, because like everybody needs a different kind of guidance. Everybody goes through a different kind of development. But I think as a whole, like as Christians, like I think that's our responsibility too. To step up and show people what it actually means to live out a righteous life, I guess.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no. For instance, like for the future generation, like some people might need to see somebody like Luan who has Instagram but is able to use it the right way.
Right.
So another kid might need me and to realize, oh, I don't really need this at all. Like
Right.
I just don't need it. And then another kid might need a person who's a social media manager to teach them, how to use this correctly when being so heavily involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever your story is, just be obedient and know that whatever way that like the Holy Spirit is kind of telling you to go as far as social media, like it's for the better of not just you, but the people that are going to see you and how you interact with social media and all those kinds of things. But yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of,
I would say
that kind of wraps it all up for what I was feeling.
I would say.
Yeah. Listen, guys, we're working on getting a guest on for after fall break.
Yeah. So we got, that's right.
2 weeks from now, we'll be recording.
Sure.
Well,
Well,
from
soon.
it's
Soon.
Yeah, soon. And we also,
Sounds weird.
yeah, we also just got our third mic back, so we'll be able to have guests on and all those kinds of things regularly, which is sick. And then, so if you guys want to stay up to date with us, follow us on Instagram at the Set Apart Pod.
Yeah, I think it's .pod, but
it's the setapart.pod.
That's it. Yep.
And then on YouTube, you can look us up.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Just get to the link tree in our Instagram. The link tree will be on there.
That's the easiest way. Mm-hmm.
It's on our YouTube also, the link tree in our description or in our About Us page, I believe. So you can look at that there and get connected in that way. You can fill out the guest interest form if you'd like to be on Set Apart. If there's a certain interest or a certain topic that you are passionate about, you can insert that in the thing and kind of give your little testimony why you should be on, all those kinds of things, and we'll consider it and we'll probably have you on, which is awesome. So, Luan, any last things?
That's it. Love you guys.
Nice. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so grateful that you guys got to listen and just chill, hang out with us. Low-key want to start selling some merch. We gonna see though. Probably 5 people gonna buy that junk. Anyways, I love y'all. We will see y'all again next week. And thanks so much for tuning in to Set Apart.